The loudest person in the room is often the most insecure. We've been lied to. We've been told that if you don't post it, it didn't happen. That if you don't show the lifestyle, you aren't living it. But while the world is busy shouting for attention, the real winners are working in the dark. They aren't hiding. They're just building something too big to be explained in a caption. Today, you'll learn why the most dangerous person in any room is the one who has nothing to prove. Meet Elias and Julian. They started in the same city, at the same age, with the same hunger. Julian was a firework. He was charismatic, fast, and loved the light. Every time he made $1,000, he spent $2,000 to make it look like 10. He moved into a high-rise he couldn't afford. He leased a car that hummed with a status he hadn't earned yet. His social media was a gallery of the life. To the world, Julian had arrived. He was the definition of making it. Then there was Elias. Elias lived in a modest apartment on the edge of town. He drove a car that started every morning but didn't turn any heads. When his friends asked what he was working on, he'd just smile and say, "A few projects." He didn't post his late nights. He didn't photograph his spreadsheets. He didn't broadcast his gym sessions. While Julian was busy maintaining an image, Elias was busy building an empire. The middle of the journey is where most people quit, because the middle is quiet. For 2 years, Elias disappeared. Not literally, he was still there. But he stopped attending the parties. He stopped responding to the "Where are you?" texts. He was in his monk mode. He was learning. He was failing. He lost money on a venture no one knew he started. He spent 6 months correcting a mistake that would have broken most people. He felt the sting of being underestimated. He saw the photos of Julian at beach clubs, surrounded by people who toasted to his success. Sometimes, in the dead of night, Elias felt the itch to show them, to post a win, to prove he wasn't falling behind. But he understood a fundamental truth. Validation is a cheap high. Results are a permanent legacy. He chose to stay in the shadows. He stayed disciplined when it wasn't trending. He kept his head down when his ego wanted him to look up. Then, the world changed. It always does. Markets shifted. The easy money dried up. Julian's house of cards began to shake. The lease payments stayed the same, but the attention, the fuel for his engine, started to fade. People moved on to the next loud person. Without the roar of the crowd, Julian realized he was standing on a foundation of sand. He had the look of a CEO, but the bank account of a person in debt. Meanwhile, Elias's projects reached a tipping point. His software company hadn't just survived the quiet years, it had matured. Because he hadn't spent his profits on watches and tables, he had a war chest. While others were panicking, Elias was expanding. He wasn't doing it for revenge. He wasn't doing it to show Julian. He was doing it because he had built a machine that worked whether people looked at it or not. A year later, there was a gala for the city's top innovators. Julian was there, still trying to play the part, though the cracks were showing. He spent the night networking, talking loudly about pivoting and scaling, eyes darting around to see who was watching him. Then Elias walked in. He wasn't wearing a designer logo. He didn't have a photographer following him. He walked in, spoke quietly to a few mentors, and sat at the back. When the keynote speaker announced the Entrepreneur of the Year, the room went silent as Elias's name was called. The crowd whispered, "Who is he? Where did he come from? I've never seen him on social media." Elias walked to the stage. He didn't give a long, boastful speech. He didn't mention his struggles or his haters. He simply thanked his team and said, "Success doesn't need a witness. It only needs a foundation." He went home that night, parked his modest car, and went to sleep. No victory post, no "I told you so." Just the quiet confidence of a man who knows exactly who he is. The art of quiet success is about one thing: internal authority. When you are truly confident, you don't need to shout. When you are truly wealthy, you don't need to flash. When you are truly powerful, you don't need to intimidate. Stop trying to convince people you're winning. Let your results do the talking for you. Build in silence. Grow in private. Let your character be your brand and your consistency be your roar. The world is full of people trying to seem. Be the person who chooses to be. A diamond doesn't make a sound, yet it is one of the most valuable things on earth. A drum makes the most noise, but it's completely hollow inside. Don't be the drum. Be the diamond. If this story resonated with you, it's a sign that you're ready to stop seeking validation and start seeking growth. Quietly support this message by hitting the like button. If you are committed to building your success in silence this year, comment "Silence is power" below. For more stories on discipline, mindset, and the art of winning, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. True success is a journey. Don't miss the next step. Share this with one person who needs to remember their worth isn't measured by their likes. Until next time, stay focused, stay quiet,